In the past year, I've seen tons of YouTube videos going through different Google ad strategies. I've audited dozens and dozens of ad accounts, seemingly doing all the same things wrong. So if you're running Google ads and your return on ad spend is not hitting your target, if you're not able to spend, if you're limited by budget, if you're limited by target, all of these very common things, then I have news for you. You are simply not getting the most out of Google ads. So in this video, I'll be showing you the better way to run Google ads step by step. And I'll take you through some of the most common issues that I see that is absolutely wasting your ad spend right now, no matter if you are a small brand just starting or a large brand that's been running for years. So setting the scene here, this account has spent $25,000 in the last 30 days. It's done so with a total of 9 different campaigns. And when I looked at this account, something felt fishy. The brand came to us very concerned that their ROAS was not good enough. But if we look at their return on ad spend, it actually looks great, 4.89. Where is that disconnect? Because I know a lot of people watching this right now would love a 4.89 return on ad spend. And what shocked me is that this brand is spending most of their money and driving most of their revenue from terms that they don't even need to spend on. So to diagnose the issue better, really what I wanted to look at was a very large chunk of time. So I chose the last 180 days. Once I did this, I jumped right into the search terms under insights and reports. Basically what this search term report is looking at is all of the search terms across all of their shopping campaigns, all of their search campaigns, and all of their performance max campaigns as well. We can see they spent $100,000 in the last 180 days against their search terms in general. That $100,000 drove $546,000 in conversion value, also known as revenue, at a 5.45 return on ad spend, which is conversion value divided by cost. This all sounds great, but what I want to do next is add a filter for search terms. So I type in search term here and I click contains and I type in one key phrase of their brand term. For example, if I was Lululemon, then all I would type in here would be Lulu or even LU. What that is going to do is use the contain function to find the majority of the search terms that are actually related to the brand. Now, once we did that, I have now my search term contains the branded name, and we see $46,000 and $334,000 of the revenue is actually on the branded term. That means nearly 50% of the total spend in the account is going to branded terms. And it also means that $334,000 is going to branded terms. And more than 65% of the conversion value, aka revenue, is going to these branded terms. What this means in total is that of the $46,000 spend, $334,000 revenue, 7.23 return on ad spend on branded terms. All fine metrics, but what's not fine is when we take a look at the non-branded terms. So what I do is I go to search term, does not contain, then our branded term, and we can see things drop off. We spent $54,000 to drive $212,000 in revenue at a 3.9 return on ad spend. Imagine spending nearly 50% of your budget on branded terms that you were likely to convert anyway. This brand very much wonders why they're not scaling their new customer acquisition. And it's because 50% of their spend is going to the same exact searches. How do we fix this? And how do we make sure that we're spending the right amount on our branded terms, the right amount on our non-branded terms, and actually scaling new customer acquisition effectively? First things first, we're going to create a new campaign. That campaign is going to be a sales campaign and it's going to drive to purchases. To kick off, we're going to start a search campaign. It's going to be website visits and enter in your website right here. This is going to be our brand search campaign. And we're going to target this on an impression share for absolute top of page results, 95% and a $3 CPC. We are not going to select new customer acquisition because this is going to be the one spot in the account that we're completely comfortable bidding on our branded terms. Click next, unselect these networks up top and just select your exact country with presence, not presence or interest. Click this bottom option here. For your audience segments, and this is going to apply to the rest of the video, so I won't waste your time on it, select somewhere between 5 and 20 observation audiences that apply the most to your business. For example, if I was in the beauty and personal care space, I would select beauty and personal care, and then I would continue to go down the list for anything that applies to my business. It could be a combination of in-market and life events. In the more settings section, enter in your campaign URLs if that's necessary. For branded search, right now we're using AI Max. I would never give anyone this recommendation if I wasn't seeing better results with it today. Now, this might change in 6 months. So right now we're recording this in Q4 2025. So just keep in mind the time frame on these things because strategies change and we're always going to keep you updated with what's actually working the best. So I'm turning on optimize your campaign with AI Max, and we are putting a brand inclusion list. This is going to narrow the searches to only your branded terms. Go ahead and click here. And if you don't have a branded list, click new brand list and enter in your brand information. And then once it's approved, select the brand inclusion. The next step here is keyword and asset generation. We're skipping this completely, and we're going to skip this throughout the entire length of this setup. And then for your keywords and ads, this is where we're going to be entering our actual search terms that we're going to be bidding on. In all cases, what I like to do for my branded searches first is just use phrase match. You could use exact match if you want to. Exact match is completely fine as well, but phrase match is going to cover 95% plus of the searches and variants of the searches. So if I was Nike, I would type in Nike, secondary searches that my brand owns, like Air Jordan, or perhaps just Jordan, because a phrase match would trigger on both Jordan and Air Jordan for the same search. So I'd go down the list with all of my branded terms here. For AI Max in settings here, we're going to unselect use search term group matching, and then we already have set our brand inclusions on the campaign level, so this could be ignored. Moving down to our ads, this is going to be up to you. Make sure you max out 15 headlines, 4 descriptions, include images, include your business name, include your business logo, and also put in recommended site links, right? The most relevant site links that are applicable to your business. And finally, you're setting a budget for this campaign, which is going to start low because it's a branded search campaign, and you're going to move it up as you cap out on your impression share. So this could literally start as low as like $30 a day, and then it could move up to 50, 100, 200, completely depending on if you're using your entire budget and if your search terms are actually hitting your branded terms. Now, after we create that branded search campaign, the next most important campaign is a standard performance max campaign with exclusions. So the way that we set this up is a new campaign. Campaign objective is sales, purchases, click Performance Max as the campaign type. Make sure here you're selecting your correct Merchant Center account and then click continue. For this, we're going to start by bidding on max conversion value. However, if you're a brand that doesn't care about conversion value and you actually just care about CPA and most conversions, then just click conversions here. And do not set a target return on ad spend yet. Down the line, 30 days from now, even 14 days from now, once you start spending consistently, then we're going to set a target return on ad spend. For this part, we're clicking customer acquisition. Select this and go down to only bid for new customers. We want to very specifically only target new customer acquisition with this campaign. For our campaign settings, United States only. More settings could be left completely blank except for brand exclusions. In the brand exclusions portion, we're going to add that branded list just like we created in the branded search campaign. And then right here, there's a button that says allow shopping ads on searches that mention excluded brands. Do not select that. Then go ahead and click next, skip asset generation, and go to your asset group. For your asset groups, this is going to be a 20% campaign, which means it's going to contain the products that drive 80% of your sales, which are going to be the 20% of your products that drive 80% of your revenue. So the way that we like to do this is go into our listing group, use a selection of products, go to product or item ID, just and only select the exact products that represent 80% of your sales and are usually about 20% of your total products. So just for an example, let's say these first 5 or 6 products here represent 80% of my sales. I'm just going to select these 6 and click save. Moving on to assets here, max out your headlines, max your long headlines, max your descriptions, max your images, and even maximize your videos. If you don't have videos, leave it blank, but just know that some are going to get generated here. Don't forget your site links. And for your call to action, I always get asked, either go automated, shop now, or learn more. Most of the time, shop now is what works the best. But if you're not sure, to be honest, I leave this on automated about 60% of the time these days. Moving down to signals here. This is your opportunity to add in all related search themes. If you want to, just go onto ChatGPT or Claude and just enter in, give me 50 search terms based on my brand. These are very broad guidelines for Google to work off of. They don't need to be overly specific. For your audience signal, now I have a ton of saved audience signals here, but what you want to generally do here, you want to enter in your customer list and your website visitors up top here. You want to enter in custom interest and even market segments and life events in this section right here. And then again, you could also add custom search terms and demographics here, although most of the time for demographics, I would recommend selecting all 3 female, male, and unknown and go down to ages 18 to 65 plus. This is going to give you the most amount of reach. And unless you're a brand that physically can't sell to men or can't sell to females, then you want to keep these selected because unselecting them means that you won't target this demo at all. Once you select that audience segment, you're setting your budget. This campaign is a 100% net new acquisition machine. This is literally built to acquire new customers only. So be very aggressive on your budget here, because this is going to be your driver in Google Ads. Whether you're setting this to $1,000 a day, $100 a day, just know that this is going to be the bulk, the most important campaign that you're running to acquire new customers. Now, to keep this short and sweet for everyone, because I think you're getting the gist of how to set everything up, what I want to focus on now is the overall holistic structure. We've created the Performance Max top 20%. We've created the branded search campaign. These are our core segments. Now, technically speaking, you could stop right here. Technically, you could just only run these two campaigns. And if you're only spending a couple $100 a day, then yeah, just run these two campaigns. It's completely fine. After you run these two campaigns though, and you're starting to scale up, what I'd recommend next is introducing a PMax bottom 80%. The PMax bottom 80% goes through the exact same settings as the top 20%, except you're targeting the opposite end of the products. So instead of targeting the top 20% of products that drive 80% of the revenue, you're targeting the bottom 80% of the products that drive only 20% of the revenue. So you expect this PMax campaign to not necessarily do as well for you, but it will drive less volume, and it will still be what I call a zombie campaign that allows you to provide maximum coverage and ultimately scale your ads, even if it's just a few conversions here and there. Next is your non-branded search campaign. Now, again, this is only when you're spending significant amounts of cash, because your Performance Max is actually going to cover your non-brand search for you, but it's just not going to be as good as custom non-brand search on its own. So when you are spending significant amounts of money, and if you really believe that your brand would work well for non-brand, you need non-branded search. And where we would introduce non-branded search is really at that higher level of spend. And then last but not least is a standard shopping campaign. Now, I've gone through this in different tutorials, but what I want to share with you on the standard shopping campaign, when we go ahead and create this, we click new campaign, sales campaign, continue. This is going to be a shopping campaign. Make sure you select your correct products and click standard shopping. Now, this isn't just a standard shopping campaign. This is a branded standard shopping campaign. And what's different about this is we're going to set this on a target ROAS, and we're going to set that ROAS really high, like 500%, 600%, and it only is going to bid on your branded terms. Now, the way that you refine this, the way that you actually get this to only bid on your branded terms, is by over time going into your search terms and excluding any of your non-branded terms from this specific campaign. And the way that we wrap this up is we have 5 different campaigns, all with different objectives, all meant to scale differently, right? Our Performance Max campaign, our top 20%, that's our core. Our branded search campaign is protecting us, and so on. Now look, if this strategy helps you, please let me know. And you might notice this is a brand new channel, completely different from my Facebook channel. So if you get value out of this video, let me know in the comments below and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one.